Hello there, welcome back to another video. So today I have week 1 of Mermay. If you don't know, Mermay is a drawing challenge where you draw a mermaid every day in May for all 31 days, and it's been pretty challenging. So this will be week 1 of it. Hopefully I can have week 2 up soon, and I've been recording the process and uploading like shorter versions of this on TikTok, and then uploading the finished drawing on Instagram. And I will eventually have the drawing reels up on Instagram. I just didn't want it to clutter everyone's feed if I posted twice in a day with the drawing and the video. But let me know your thoughts on that, if you think that would be okay or not. I just didn't want to like I guess overwhelm everyone in their feed. So this first one is a mermaid holding a skull, and I guess the only idea I had behind it was that it could be like the skull of like a friend or like a past lover or something, because a lot of times in like mythology, mermaids are depicted as evil creatures, mostly as like sirens that will lure sailors to the water with their voice and then drown them afterwards. So I obviously like the more like upbeat, happy version of mermaids, but I do like the kind of like the darker lore that comes along with it as well. So that's something that I wanted to play around with like a little bit. You'll also see like just through all the drawings that I've done, I also played around with like the sizing a lot. So normally like mermaids in media are depicted as like the same size as like a human, but I also played around with doing like kind of like up close portrait drawings of them, and also doing a little bit of like the idea of that they could like shrink down in size, like to be the size of like a fish, kind of like how fairies can change size in like mythology or in like storybooks and things like that. So I thought it was like a fun idea to kind of explore. And for all these drawings, I'm using Copic markers, my Moleskine sketchbook, the Prim Rosea alcohol pens, and extra fine. Those are what I use here for like the little scales on the tail and like the little highlights with the white pen that is the acrylic pen by them. And then I'm also using Sakura Microns, the PN, the plastic nib. Some of the drawings I outlined in black and some of them I outlined in pink, and it just kind of depends on like the color scheme for the artwork. So if it's something that's gonna have a dark background like this, I used black. And if it's something that's more like light and pastel, I used pink. So this one is like a little sleepy mermaid. I sketched these out ahead of time. I spent like about, I would say 2 days just like sketching up ideas. And at the end of the month, I'll go through all of my drawings for Mermay and do like a flip through of everything. There are some sketches that didn't make it to the final cut, so you'll see those. A lot of times if I don't necessarily like the concept or the composition of something, I won't go around and fully color it. So that's something that you'll see a lot, is that there's times where I will go and sketch something, but then I don't necessarily like it, so then I'll just leave it as a sketch and just leave it in my sketchbook, and you know, it'll just live on as that instead of a fully colored piece. But I liked this idea of her just like laying against like a wooden box, and then just like a little circular sky around her. I thought that was like a fun idea. And when I did these, I told you I sketched them ahead of time, then I would outline them, and then while that was drying, I would go and pick out like color schemes for them. So this one's very like purple and pinky, a little bit of a deep red for the tail. This one right here, I don't know if you guys recognize her. She's from Mermay, I think 3 years ago, something like that. So I brought this design back. She's like half fairy, half mermaid. I don't know what that creature would be called, or if it would just be like a fairy mermaid. I don't know. But I thought it was like a fun idea, and her wings are inspired by the rosy moth, I believe it's called. It's like a light yellow and a light pink moth, and it's really pretty. I know if I saw it in real life I'd be scared of it, but in pictures it's really pretty. There's some moths that like have like such like intricate like colors and wings, and that's where I got the inspiration for her wings. This one I called The Lovers. It is two mermaids and they are a couple. I was also listening to the new Melanie Martinez album Portals while I was drawing, so some of these drawings are inspired by that. I can't remember the song. But it's like one of the lines is searching for forever, so it made me think of like a couple. So that is kind of what I went for. And I gave her like a little like mini crown, like Bloom from Winx Club. Like maybe she's like a princess or something. I don't know. Yeah, I like that idea. I like the idea of like a royalty figure with like kind of like just like a commoner. And you see that a lot in like Disney films as well. There will be like a princess, you know, with a commoner, or like vice versa, or like the prince like with a commoner. I feel like there's sometimes where it's like they're both royalty. Like I think in Sleeping Beauty she was royalty and Prince Philip was royalty as well. Same thing with Snow White and the Little Mermaid as well. I believe she's a princess, and so is Prince Eric. But then you'll see other stories where they're not, like the female isn't royalty or like the male isn't royalty. They marry and then that's how they become royalty. But yeah, so I thought it was interesting. I used to do this technique a lot where I would draw like little half circles, make it look like lace around flowers, around hearts, and I revisited that and I thought it was really cute. This one was inspired by the song Spiderweb, and I liked this idea of like a kind of like mermaid coming out of water with like a coming up to like the surface to breathe, and then there's like a spiderweb in her face. I don't know, I thought it was like interesting. It was really hard to draw that spiderweb. It took me a long time to kind of like figure out the shape and like the diagonal of it and how to draw it. I messed up like a little bit and I tried to fix it. Even with the ruler, I swear, even with rulers it's hard because you could hold the ruler like wrong, you know what I mean? Like you could hold it on an angle and it still not come out correct because you're holding it at an angle, not holding it completely straight. So it's like, I don't know, you can still mess it up, which is not good. I've always had that issue. I've never held the ruler completely straight, so it's like I have to kind of like pin my head back and look, and then I'm like, am I holding it correctly? I don't know. But yeah, that's always an issue I have. But I think it came out cute in the end. Again, I used the moth and a butterfly and a spider. This one got a little bit messed up in the beginning, but then I kind of saved it. This was kind of like a swamp mermaid. I was originally gonna make her like have like a bunch of clouds around her, but then I changed my mind once I got into the coloring. I was struggling a little bit with the colors because I was trying to make it like kind of like swampy, foresty without it being like like too Christmassy. Like I feel like when you use red and green together, it just automatically looks like Christmas. So I was trying really hard to not do that. So I was using like a muted red, and then I like layered it with pink, and I was trying really hard to like not make it look like a Christmas drawing. I wanted it to look like a, you know, like a swamp mermaid or like a foresty mermaid, you know. But yeah, I liked that idea of like kind of like, you know, maybe they're not always in the ocean, maybe they're like, you know, in like these tiny little lakes in like a forest or something. So I thought that was like a fun idea. There was some leak through from the other side. If you see like above her hat, that was from some leak from the opposite side, and I did have a paper underneath, so I must have been pressing really hard for it to go through. So yeah, this is where I was like struggling with the background. I didn't know, like I originally wanted to do the like clouds to make it look kind of like swampy, like foggy almost, but then it just like it didn't work out. So I just go in and I'm trying to like add the scales on here and everything, and yeah, I had kind of a hard time with this one, but I was trying really hard to salvage it because I didn't want to start over. So I added the scales and everything, and then I realized I probably should give her some sort of coverage or something. So I kind of went in to try to do like a little like star shape bra, or like a clamshell bra, and then I used this art sponge, and I wanted to add some texture that way, and it actually came out really nice. I think it looks like she's underwater rather than what I wanted, but I think it's still really cute, and I like her little bird friend. And then this is day 7. This, I was listening to Nymphology, so I did kind of like a play on like a nymph mermaid. So when I was looking up nymphs, they are basically like spirits of nature. So they have like an element tied to them. They could be like air, water, earth, fire. But from what I've seen, they're mostly like kind of like earth spirits or water spirits. So that's kind of what I went with. That's why she is green. So I liked the idea of it being like a nymph mermaid. Kind of like some sort of like cross hybrid type of thing. So I liked that idea. I really liked the colors. They're very like springy. Like I love like the lime green and like the pink and with like the aqua blue, and I think it came out really nice. It wasn't like my favorite one that I've done, but I think it was really like cute as far as like the concept and the colors. So that was one that I ended up liking more than I had originally anticipated. So yeah, that was day 7. Hopefully I can get up week 2 relatively quickly within the next like couple of days, since we are rolling up on the 2nd week of Mermay. But yeah, so that is that one. I love the lily pads. And yeah, those were all of them. Thank you for watching. Let me know your favorite one down below. If you want to see any of the drawings for the day, I'm putting them on Instagram, and then the sped up drawing process will be on my TikTok if you want to see those, and then they will be uploaded here later onto YouTube, just because I have to do a lot of editing with it. But yeah, that was it. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!